Okay, we're going to make a gradient. So you want to use the largest brush you have. And if you only have the one that's from school, from the kit, you're going to use this small one that is square, which is obviously a little bit larger than this or this. Okay, and if you are at home and you have something larger, you're going to want to use the biggest brush that you have. So what we're making is a wash. So a wash, the main ingredient is water, and it's a lot of water and a little bit of pigment. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to paint the paper totally white. I mean, just with water. So the white paper is going to just be wet. Don't need to dry my brush at all yet. We are working on cardstock. If you are more sophisticated and you have some materials and you have some money to spend, you can get a little bit of a nicer paper and you can buy watercolor paper. And it doesn't soak in quite as much. It sits on the surface a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to start at the bottom and the top, and we're going to have these two colors meet up with each other. In order to do that, you have to have two colors that are going to blend well. So you definitely don't want to use complementary colors. So for example, if I have blue and I have orange, you're going to end up with brown in the middle because that's a complementary color. So if you think about the rainbow, or if you just look at what's here on your plate, because it's not in the shape of a color wheel, but it's like a rainbow, what colors are close to each other? So I started mixing a little bit already, so I have a blue and a purple which are right next to each other, so those are going to be my two. So I'm going to start with the blue and a purple, and I'm going to have those colors mix with each other and blend together. Alright, so I'm going to start with quite a bit of blue at the top, and I'm going to add water. My goal is to get it to change gradually, a little more pigment. Notice how the paper is wet, I add pigment, and look at that. It grows, or it bleeds. You want to go all the way up to the page. Okay, now if I was doing like a sunset, lots of people like to do that, I would just keep on going with this blue and have it fade. You can do purple. Alright, so I have my darker blue up here. It's going to get lighter. It's going to fade into the purple. So down here at the bottom, I'm going to add my purple. It's very strong. Add water. Don't even need to add more paint yet. Add more water to get that to blend up. Okay, I'm kind of running out of paint. Add a little more. Okay, it's getting a little strong. I need it to fade out. Okay, another way to do this, because like from here to here is a lot of pigment. So you might just use the lid to water it down a little bit before you get to the paper. Alright, I'm getting to the point now where these colors are going to mix with each other. Alright, now I'm just kind of painting with water again because my paper dried. Okay, I'm going to go with a little bit of that lighter blue. And now they're fading into each other. So it's this gradual transition. The trick is for this gradual transition is that the paper is wet. The paper is wet, the purple is wet, and the blue is wet, and they're all mixing together, and that's how you get that gradual transition. Now if you look, I think I made some mistakes, right? So over here is like really dark, and then it gets lighter, and it gets darker, and then it gets lighter. That's not very gradual. So it might be all I can do, but let's see if I can fix it a little bit. Add a little bit more pigment here on that part that got a little darker. Much better. There we go. Much more gradual transition blending out. Okay, that's called a gradation from one color to another. Again, you could do the same thing with the gradation, whereas if I stopped here, you went from dark to light, and you would just go from blue to white.